Hello, everybody. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let me know if you can't. Everything's showing good on my end, but I want to make sure that I'm hearing myself. It's not good. Okay. I need to figure out how to get my this whole streaming set up where I don't have so many windows open. All right, got some people in chat here. Let me say hello to everyone. Got some weird fluctuations in my camera tonight, so I apologize about that. Mac Unknown saying 5x5. Got Jeff Worthen, Thrax, VMXCO, VM. Hope you're well, buddy. Salute to you. Vasily, Bloody Edge, Jeff, Mac Unknown, Teriyaki, Scott. We got a lot of people in chat. Captain Shack, Luna. Hopefully I said that right. Hope everyone is well. Salute to everybody. It's been kind of an eventful Star Citizen week, obviously, with Invictus starting. I thought I'd be streaming more and doing more to interact with the community while the event was going on. But I'm actually leaving on a trip on Friday and will be unable to stream where I'm going. I'm going camping with family and all that good stuff. So I wanted to make sure I got in a stream tonight, talked a little bit about the stuff kind of happening in Star Citizen, interact with you all a little bit. I see we do have some questions about what the Super Cat is. We'll get into that. I'll go ahead and alleviate any concerns, though. It is not the unannounced Drake ship. It's a speculative sort of thing based off a Spectrum article, and we'll get to that. But we are going to talk about what possibly Drake Day could be all about. So hopefully I didn't bait y'all too much. That definitely wasn't my intention with that. Let's see here. What else we got? Jeff asks, hey, Grim, will the Legionnaire fit in the Polaris? Would be a great combination for anti-piracy and boarding activities. I don't know, but we can try that tonight. We can try it, see if it fits in the Polaris. Let's see here. Everyone can hear me good. For those of you that this is the first time catching the stream, obviously, I'm glad to have you joining us. I was streaming a lot on Twitch, which you can still go give me a follow over there. It's https Twitch. I'll put the link in there. You can follow me there. I do, I do stream over there from time to time. But YouTube has really become where I am most active on. So I think that's the link there. I don't know why my camera is flickering like that. Stand by, everyone. I want to see if I can solve that. Bear with me. Let's take the auto white balance off. Maybe that's what's causing it to flicker. No, it's still flickering. Well, we'll deal with it for now. Anyway, we can talk about the Legionnaire. We're gonna talk about the letter from the chairman. We're going to talk a little bit about the roadmap, and we'll look at some other cool stuff. Drake Butterfly. See what else we have. No flickers on YouTube, so you're not seeing any flickers on your end. Is anyone else seeing that? It's like a flicker with my video. Again, I don't know what's causing that, everybody. Sorry if it becomes too distracting. I'm going to be shrinking myself here momentarily anyway, though, so hopefully it won't be an issue. Okay, let's... Elvis, that is probably something we could get to. We could probably look into seeing how... what the biggest fighter you could get into an Idris is. Although I think some people have already figured that out. There may be someone in chat that can answer that. We'll see. But anyways, we got a great turnout tonight. Again, appreciate everyone for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Going to be kind of a casual stream. We're just talking about some general stuff. I know pretty much everyone and their grandmother has you see it when you look at my black shirt. Gotcha. Okay. You know what? It might just need a. Let me try something real quick, everybody. If you don't mind bearing with me for a second here. I think I'm going to add another color correction layer on my stream, and I'm just going to give it a little bit more contrast. And we're going to see if this solves it. I don't know if it will, but we're going to try it. Probably won't. Anyway, we're going to look at all that. One of the big things I wanted to do was dig into the letter from the chairman. Again, everyone has talked about that on their individual streams, all the other content creators and stuff. But I wanted to go over it as well and talk about my thoughts on it and take any of your all thoughts on it, and maybe even if you want to jump in and chat with me live, it could throw you in a Discord channel. I'll look at that. Let me bring up one more thing for discussion purposes. Stand by, everybody. How has everyone been enjoying Invictus so far? Let me ask that to start. Has it been a good show for everybody? All right, I'm going to post this and cool. Hey, Fox, salute to you. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Okay, some people are saying it's a mild flicker. Hopefully that's not bothering everyone. I'm using this Logitech Brio, and I gotta say, I'm not. It's the 4K one. I'm not super happy with it, to be honest with you. Let me just make sure one other thing, and we'll get started here. I just want to check my lights, make sure I'm at the right color temperature here. Okay, looks like I am. Okay, we're gonna get started. Okay, Max says looking forward to the FPS event. Vasily says Invictus launch week has been pretty good. Fox Velox says I'm going to try for the Kraken this year. Wish me luck. Yeah, good luck. I was able to snag that and the 2020 Invictus. That was a big day for me. Most people know that's been following STARJUMP. The Kraken is my favorite ship. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kraken tonight, actually. So I was able to snag one at the 2020 Invictus and don't regret it. Don't regret it. Okay, let's get into a few things here. I'm going to switch us over to Brad says it flickers tolerably. Okay, great. Good. I'm going to switch us over to my screen share. Real quick, though, I did want to bring up a couple updates to things. Don't forget our merch store. If you haven't checked that out and you're looking for STARJUMP merch, we got a few things over there. It's not a ton of stuff. We keep the profits really, really low. I think we make like $1.50, $2 on everything we sell, so it's not much. So go give that a look if you're interested in STARJUMP merch. Just kind of some funny stuff over there, as well as just a bunch of stuff with our logo on it for now. But we are designing some really cool new merch that'll be coming soon. Also, don't forget, we are working on the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer still. Project is going very well. As you know, me and the other STARJUMP Fleet Viewer collaborators, we are essentially finished and have been finished now for about a week or 2 weeks, by 2 weeks. And all assets have been handed over to Starlet. Starlet is busy, doing the back-end programming. And you know what? I just realized, I don't know if I posted my live link in the Discord, so I'm going to do that real quick. Because sometimes our thing in Discord doesn't work. All right, did that. So yeah, working on the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer, going really well. Starlet has all the assets. We're pushing pretty aggressive on it. Those of you that have been following the project know that a lot of time and effort's been put into it. We are now just over a year of production time on it, so it's not been a short project. If you've been wondering why there hasn't been a new STARJUMP cinematic, fan-made cinematic since the Aegis cinematic, this is the reason, because we've been knee-deep in Fleet Viewer. So still coming, still trucking along really good. Last but not least, I wanted to remind everyone about the Patreon. Again, we got some cool Patreon tiers, including a monthly 4K wallpaper that I design and create using cinematic assets. As you go up, you get access to custom 4K wallpapers, meaning I will put a ship in the wallpaper custom to your colors and stuff. When you get to the $50 tier, you get all that plus a free piece of merch. And then when you get if you do go as crazy as the $100 tier, which you do not have to do, but if you do, you'll get two pieces of merch, the custom 4K wallpaper. And one of the coolest kind of benefits we added was that at that tier, you get to have a ship in the Fleet Viewer that is a custom livery. The public fleet viewer. So, if you want a black and gold Gladius with your logo on it, then that will be in there under supporterships. I am working on Patreon tier benefits right now. I think I'll start rolling those out on the week of June 6th. So the week of June 6th, I'll be rolling those out if you are a Patreon supporter. I'll go ahead and post the Patreon link in the chat since I don't think my bot command is working tonight, but there's the Patreon if you're interested and want to go take a look. All right, let's go ahead and dig into a few things. Why don't we start by talking about the Anvil Legionnaire? Let's start there. Let's start with the easy one. In today's roadmap roundup, we learned a little bit more about this ship. We learned that is going into active production, not just concept production. Let me bring up. I have something new I can play tonight. If I can just find it. Something no one has seen yet, so you all will be the first. All right, we are talking about this beauty. Here's the Anvil Legionnaire. This is the Fleet Viewer model for the Legionnaire. It is complete. We did this variant, which is the standard variant, as well as the Storm Strike variant. I believe that's what it's called, Storm Strike. Let me hit repeat on this. I'm going to go through the specs of this real quick. Let me pull this over. And we'll bring up our video again here. Okay, so the Legionnaire, it is essentially it's a ship boarding ship. The ship is designed to, come upon another ship, begin to hack that ship's docking collar and security protocols. Once it's hacked those things, it will get permission, albeit through force, to do a docking connection on that ship's docking collar through the nose of the Legionnaire, and then using that docking collar connection, which within the Legionnaire, the docking collar leads directly to the jump seat area where your trooper, your ship boarders can be. You'll then be able to board ships. I'll go through a couple of the things on the ship website about it. Obviously, it's key. One of its key features is the ability to hack in. It says here the Legionnaire's integrated infiltration systems empower operators to stealthily disable security measures on target vessels. That also includes space stations, leaving them vulnerable to docking, boarding, and seizure. Okay. Let's see here. And I'll get to any questions here in just a minute. Another advantage of the ship, it has the ability to lock on. So the Legionnaire's 2-in-1 docking collar connects to all UEE standard apertures, allowing for the infiltration of vessels and facilities of all sizes. It'd be interesting to know if ships like the Banu Merchantman will share a UEE compatible docking collar. That'll be really interesting. Comes with 8 high-performance jump seats transport in order to transport a full boarding party in a single run. It it's going to have built-in storage and weapon lockers, obviously, right next in that boarding prep room. So you're going to be able to rock and roll as soon as you go down that corridor. It has a trio of shield generators and military-derived armor. Helps keep the Legionnaire protected from incoming fire. So again, heavily armored ship. You can kind of see that beefy armor here, and the way it's very broad-shouldered in order to protect sort of what's underneath. Has a little bit of that kind of Terrapin vibe. So again, has a 2-in-1 docking collar, a hacking console, cockpit, obviously, high performance jump seats, weapons lockers, has a size 2 remote operated turret, and let's see, has 2 of those, one on the tail and one here in the middle center. It's heavily armored, and it has the trio of shields. The ship has a two-man crew, pilot and hacker, 8 jump seats. It has 32 meters in length, and we can test that against some other ships here tonight if any of you are curious, about its length compared to others. I believe I did check on my last stream if the Liberator could carry this, and it can, if I remember correctly. Its width is 23.3 meters, height is 10.2 meters. That's pretty much it. It comes in 2 variants. It comes in, stand by. Comes in the standard variant and then the Storm Strike variant, which is this one here. Just a darker variant. Nothing too crazy about the delivery change that I could see. It was mainly just more of a kind of a dark charcoal kind of black. So looking through questions here. Let me, close my window. Let me go ahead and repeat this for a minute. All right, what questions do we have here? Let's see here. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Vasily says Legionnaire is highly focused, but could also be a ship-to-ship or ship-to-station regular transport. Yeah, totally could. Could be a secure military transport for sure. I could see that being the case. Let's see here. What do you think about that ship being used to move personnel between ships with its docking? Yeah, totally, Fox. I think it'll be used for that as just a standard ship-to-ship transfer ship. It's nice and small as well. Could also be Jeff says, could also be a rescue ship to evacuate personnel from a damaged ship. Yep, could totally see that. I could see a SAR variant of this or something. Could be cool. Sounds like the Legion needs medevac variant. That airlock hack would be especially useful for search and rescue. Yep, 100% agree with that, Ken. What's a high-performance jump seat? Racing stripes or what? Vasily, I think a high-performance jump seat allows you to deal with harder landings and impacts than a standard jump seat. That's what I would assume, but I don't really know. That could just be marketing talk, to be totally honest with you. Matt Titan says, wonder if the Merchantman is still likely this year since CR did not mention it as one of the ships coming out. I feel like with that ship, Matt, I definitely don't think it's a this year ship. I think it's a 2023 ship almost assuredly. The development of the ship lists it going all the way to end of the year, and I don't even think that includes downstream teams. So I think the Merchantman is going to be a 2023 ship. Could it be a 4.0 Pyro ship? It could. But I definitely don't think it's a this year ship. Let's see, agree with the high performance. Cool. So yeah, this is the Legionnaire Fleet Viewer model. I thought it came out pretty good. Again, we'll do some comparisons on this. If you want to see, let me pull this down real quick. If you want to see an image of the Legionnaire with its docking collar out, this is sort of what you get. You can kind of see the inside here. It's actually a relatively simple ship. You get the 2-man crew up here at the front. One of those is a hacking console. The other is the pilot station. It's got a back kind of room here that's probably all components. Maybe a little bit of living quarters, but probably mostly just components and maintenance. And then down here, you've got the jump seat room, possibly a ramp leading down here in the back. We haven't fully confirmed that, but if that's the case, maybe via that ramp, you could put something like a stretcher or something like that in there. But either way, that leads directly through this into the weapon locker and ready, what I call the ready room, and then down the forcible docking collar. One thing to note, though, that I think is really cool is that this is one of the first real views we've gotten of what a ship to ship docking collar is supposed to look like. We really haven't seen that yet. We know ships are going to be able to do it, but we haven't been able to see it. So this is really our first look at that, and definitely pretty interesting. That was something I haven't seen called out by a lot of content creators, but I think you're seeing kind of what CIG's first iteration of a ship to ship docking collar would look like. I like that they put the big windows here on the side. I don't know if that's cutaway like that or just for this image. Probably is actually, but I would love if it had some windows. That'd be kind of cool. All right. Anything else about the Legionnaire before we move on? We are going to circle to Cinema 4D later on in the stream, and we could do some size comparisons, and we're going to get to what get to this super caterpillar here at that point as well. So, UGIS got my Nautilus. Can't wait to utilize her. Yep, congratulations. I also own a Nautilus. I can't wait for that ship to come out. I am one of the true believers in that I believe it is a this year ship, end of this year. And if not end of this year, then first quarter next year. I think the Nautilus has no more road blockers now that they are working on the space mines. Now, I'm not saying that the Nautilus will release with all of its gameplay intact. I don't think it will launch with the Nemo drones and the ability to deactivate mines. But what I am pretty confident in is that we could see the Nautilus end of year or beginning of next year because space mines are on the roadmap. And it specifically states on the roadmap that they are. As a matter of fact, I can switch over here to the roadmap here. Let's see here. What was I looking for? Space mines. Let's look up space mines. I gotta learn how to spell, apparently. Yeah, so space mines are on the tracker here. Currently being worked on, work extending to July. That may not be all the work. I'm not saying they'll be finished by then. I'm just saying that work goes till then. Says here, in space, players in certain ships will gain the ability to release different types of space mines in a coordinated fashion in an attempt to trap, damage, and capture enemies or set up defensive parameters. The only ship we know of that can drop space mines is the Nautilus, and I can't believe that they would work on space mines without the intent to release the Nautilus. You'll notice the game they're referencing here is Star Citizen, not Squadron 42, so it's not like they're just doing this for Rescue 42. I am speculating, of course, but still. Jeff, will the Legionnaire fit into the Polaris? We're going to check that out. I'm going to check that out for you here shortly. Facility says no windows for a close quarters heavy combat ship, please. Yeah, facility probably shouldn't have windows. Yeah, probably shouldn't have windows. Yoshi says, what the Super Cat is a thing. It's a speculation ship, Yoshi, something that I think would be kind of cool to see. And we'll look at that here in just a little bit when we move over to 3D and move over to Cinema 4D world. Fist, hope you're well. Salute to you. Hope you're very well, Fist. I still need to get back with you and Pops. I am going to be traveling on Friday, so it's been kind of a busy week, but I will reach back out to you and get in contact. It's not a huge rush there, but when I get back from my trip, I definitely want to regroup with you. I'll send you a message, though, later tonight or tomorrow. Scott says, you may have convinced me to get a Nautilus now. Yeah, I mean, what's funny is I'll move this out of the way a little bit, this window. Oops, I can't. Okay. Well, my wallpaper right now is a Nautilus. I'm a big fan. Let's see here. Okay. We will get into 3D, and I am going to create a list over here on the side that has all the stuff we're going to check. Okay, so we're going to check Legionnaire and Polaris. We'll do a couple Legionnaire tests, see what can the Legionnaire can kind of work with, what hangars it can go in and stuff. I'm pretty sure the Legionnaire would be able to fit into possibly an Odyssey and Polaris hangar, but we're going to check it out as best we can. Let's real quick though, let's move over to another kind of interesting thing. We're going to move over to the Invictus website. And actually, you know what? We're going to pause on this. We're going to go to the letters from the chairman real quick. We're not going to cover everything in the letter, but we are going to cover a few things. And I'm drinking a lot tonight, everybody. I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. First off, I thought the letter from the chairman was really, really great. It was, I know there's some salt out there in the community about, not taking Chris Roberts' word, with any sort of value. But at the end of the day, a lot of us, pledged into this game and are along for this ride because of Chris Roberts. Love it or hate it, that's what we're doing. For me personally, I really love hearing from him. I would rather personally invest in something like Star Citizen, where someone is trying to be, ambitious and it fail and never really come to fruition, than invest in I don't know, another Call of Duty game and it's 18 DLC packs. People invest their money in very different ways. And I am one of those people that, really love to put my money into something that I feel is trying to push the industry forward and taking some risks, which is what Star Citizen's doing. It's very possible that a lot of the hopes that the game started with, that I was hoping for, a lot of those promises, it's possible not all of them will come to fruition. I understand that. I look at all the money I've put into Star Citizen much like, money you would take to the dog track. It's a risk, and it's a calculated risk. You're gonna have to do the best you can with the information you have. But going from the letter from the chairman, I thought it was a pretty down to earth, realistic bit of communication from Chris. I felt like he told us some pretty concrete things. Hey, we're going to start testing PES, persistent entity streaming, as soon as 318. That testing period is going to be 2 to 3 months. Then we want to release 4.0 and Pyro, but they said the PTU phase for that could also be 2 to 3 months. But then he also gave himself an out, saying it could take longer. We don't know what sort of edge cases and stuff we're going to encounter. So I appreciated that. I appreciated that he said, we're going to get XYZ, and we're trying to do that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it also may not happen. So he kind of covered himself, but I'm also glad he wasn't so vague that he gave us no answers. I'm really happy that Chris didn't come on and say, hey, the road to 4.0 is great. We're getting there. Won't be too much longer. No, he laid out some pretty concrete stuff. So let's dive into that. So I'm going to skip down here on some things, and we can skip down to a few specific things. So the road to 4.0. They talked a lot about, when Alpha 3.0 came out, 2017, and how the push to 4.0 is going to be kind of the next version of that, where the game fundamentally changes. And it's going to fundamentally change really because of persistent entity streaming. Is it the persistent entity streaming? Yeah. And I'm actually going to bring standby. Yes, persistent streaming. So that coming on board is the underlying system that's going to make server meshing possible. It's also going to affect things like the cargo refactor, salvaging. We already know it affects those two pretty heavily. We were told as much. That's going to be the system that allows you to log out anywhere, and when you log back in, you're going to be where you logged out. Whether it's on your ship or on the surface of a planet or whatever. It's going to be the system that when you put down that drinking bottle on a planet, you should be able to come back to there and find that drinking bottle there. If a ship gets blown up in space, that wreckage that remains is going to be saved in that location for whatever, countdown timers needed in order to generate missions for salvagers to go out there and salvage that wreck. So the persistent entity streaming is key. It is one of those pillar techs. It's one of those pillar technologies that we need for the dream of Star Citizen to become a reality. Okay. And he talks a little bit about that with this whole 3 huge technology initiatives that will fundamentally change the experience and immersion into Star Citizen. He says the first of these 3 is persistent entity streaming, PES, which we're going to be hearing a lot about for the rest of this year. And apparently that's been the hardest part. It's been the hardest work for to make server meshing a reality, which was kind of interesting to hear about. So that's PES, and they kind of put this really great visual up here, laying out the entire timeline here and what we can expect to see and when we should be sort of seeing them. I thought this was really laid out great. It gives us a little bit of an understanding and sort of a preview into what we're seeing on the progress tracker, but this lays it out in terms of a release cadence, right? How we're going to see those things released, which I think is pretty important. And I thought this was very, very clear. They've already worked on things like the new login flow, persistent streaming being integrated. We're going to get that first build on the PTU. It's going to stay in the PTU for quite some time. Then when 3.18 launches in Q3, we'll have persistent streaming. That will be our big patch. Okay. And then, probably between maybe it's 3.18.1 or something, they're going to start the DGS, which is the dedicated server node split. I'm assuming that will be in a 0.1 patch or so, or in an update patch, because they're splitting it off here from the initial release. And then once we've worked through that, we'll have a server mesh 4.0 release, probably Q1 or 2, probably Q2 of next year, if I had to guess. So again, we're getting there, and it shows how far we've come since 2018, and it has been a journey. But when you lay stuff out like this, you really start to see all the parts and pieces that had to fall into place for this whole dream to slowly become a reality. It's not as simple as, just getting server meshing in. There's tons of services that need to be in just for server meshing to function. So, Vasily, let me see if I can open that up here. Why won't that open? Stand by. Let me see if I can open it with. Why does it want to open? It's not wanting to open very nicely, but let me try something here. There we go. Yep. So, so Vasily, we're right here. We're actually about right here. The game teams have got their dependencies for persistent streaming in. We are about to have, this is really kind of 3.7. This stuff is like on the PTU, okay, or will be on the PTU. They're going to get persistent streaming integrated, and we're going to test on the PTU, okay. New login flow, all that whole thing. Because I'm guessing we're going to be logging in and connecting to this entire environment a little bit differently on the back end. They're going to get a first build of that to PTU, and that will begin testing. That's probably going to test for 3 months or so, as I've said. And then in Q3, we're going to get the release of 3.18, which will contain persistent entity streaming. Okay, that's going to be full persistency, backend replacement complete. The entity graph replaces the Pcache. Okay, we've heard about the entity graph many times. A streaming logic controlled by a network replication layer. We also heard about that replication layer at CitizenCon. This is the thing that's going to tie all the DGS servers, or all the server nodes or shards or whatever they're called, I think shards. I'm sure if Starlet was here, she'd correct me. That's what's going to kind of sync all the shards, is that replication layer. Then we are going to start moving into, on the PTU side of things, them introducing server meshing tech. That's probably going to be tested for another 2 or 3 months. And then once they feel like they've got it and things are stable, we'll get the server meshing release that will be, patch 4.0. That'll come with Pyro, all that great stuff. And then once we have that out, and we've been testing that for a while, I could see it even being a year. They're going to start pretty quickly. They've said in the past pretty quickly, they're going to start on the dynamic server meshing and replication layer version 2. So this will be the next, the next step up from our initial static server meshing technology. They have said in the past that server meshing tech is something they want to kind of, the dynamic server meshing is something they want to get into relatively quickly after the initial release of server meshing. Okay, here, let's move over. So that's that. Again, let's see here if they go into, we're going to skip down here. Again, they talk about that testing cadence again. I think this is absolutely great thing. They talk about here, the goal will be to get 2 to 3 months of testing on 3.18 in the PTU for an alpha 3.18 release in late Q3. I think this is absolutely great. I would rather them hold off. And what this is going to do is that additional testing is going to mean when we get 3.18, possibly 3.19, and then 4.0, what that is going to mean is that those patches are going to be big. They're going to feel like big game releases for us, because they're going to have core tech in them, big fundamentals, big fundamental gameplay changes. They're going to make this feel like a new game, and I want them to spend the time and effort to get that stuff working properly. I think that's really important. Hey, there's Ender in the chat. Enter in the chat, everybody. Enter's at work right now, but hope he is doing well. What else do they have here? They did talk about a little bit about the new studio in Manchester. Sounds like it's going to be an absolutely incredible gaming studio. There's been some people that have said that they don't like that the Star Citizen money is being spent on fancy offices. I actually disagree. In the competitive world of video game development, retention is a problem. You need a good place for people to work, or you will not retain employees, because there's too many options for them out there. It's not just salary. If it was just salary, I would have quit my job a long time ago and moved on. There's other benefits that go into a job beyond money, right? It's PTO, it's workplace vibe, it's the do you get to work with all the best equipment, or you work at a company that's always got subpar equipment and you're always struggling there. That stuff goes a long way. So if we as backers want CIG to retain really good talent, we need them to they need to have perks there. They need to have great offices and all that good stuff. Again, it can be kind of hard to think about sometimes, but that stuff is important. That stuff is really, really important. Let's see here. They talk about that. So they did talk about there will be no in-person CitizenCon this year. It'll be a virtual CitizenCon. They also said that there will be no keynote, and that is specifically because they don't want to pull people off the server meshing and tech and stuff for 3.18 and 4.0. Totally fine there. I'm actually fine if they cancel CitizenCon altogether. Because we're all going to be so excited for 3.18, 3.19, 4.0 by the end of the year that's what we're all going to be focused on. So, they're still going to do a digital one, though, but I think it'll be a lot more scaled back to more community-driven things, if I had to guess. They did talk about this Bar Citizen World Tour. I want to get more info on that. It would be cool to see if StarJump can get involved in that in some way. This is something I want to talk to Ender and Starlet about. It would be really cool to see if we can't get tied in with some sort of official Star Citizen Bar Citizen. Maybe more on that soon. And again, it was just a great letter from the chairman. I know we didn't deep dive it here with every little line. There's been lots of content creators that have done that, but I just wanted to give my opinion that I thought it was a great letter from the chairman, and it really it had the perfect tone. The tone wasn't too positive. It wasn't negative. It just sort of hit that sweet spot and feeling real, right? And tangible. So I really appreciate that. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I just love hearing from Chris Roberts and Sandy Roberts, both of them. I love their passion and the way they speak about the project. You can tell they speak about the project as in terms of it's their livelihood. You know what I mean? And, sure, you could look at that badly, they're making money from backers' donations, but of course they are. They're making the game we've all dreamed about. So, in that regard, I want them to do very well financially from this. Absolutely. Because I want them to keep doing it. I want them to finish the game. Um, so, absolutely, I want Chris Roberts and Sandy Roberts to be doing very well from the development of Star Citizen, and I want them to want more of that doing well. And in order to get more of that, I want them to continue developing this game and make it happen. And um, nothing's done for free. Nothing's done just for the love of it. Things have to be done in the world of business because there's money to be made. Um, I've worked on a lot of like big feature films in my life, like Harry Potter and some Marvel stuff and whatnot. And as much as we'd like to think that Kevin Feige at Marvel Studios loves doing this for the passion that he has towards Marvel characters, no, he's doing it because he wants to make money, and he's got to answer for that. And that's not a problem. That's not a bad thing to want to make money and to have a successful business. So I'm all for Chris Roberts and Sandy Roberts getting in there, hyping us up, doing well from the project. Sandy has been a lot more vocal lately, and that's been really great to see. I just love her personality and love what she brings to the Star Citizen community. I really think when she stepped back from the community roles she was in like around the verse and stuff, I really feel like we lost a little something. I love hearing from Jared, and I think the shows that he's producing are really top notch in terms of quality. But there was a charm about seeing Sandy and Chris more back in the day that I think really brought something unique to this project. So I would love to see that again. Silver Joker, hello, salute to you. Hope you are well. We went over the Legionnaire. We went over the letter from the chairman. The next thing I wanted to look at was I wanted to look at the Invictus Hub, and I wanted to go to where's that link? I always lose that link. Let me scroll down here. About the events here. Where is that? Maybe it's on this page. Maybe I'm on the wrong page. Okay, maybe it's this one. Yeah. Looking for something. How did I get to that? Oh, yeah, event schedule. Dup. So there was some discussion on the StarJump Discord, and I've seen the discussion other places about Drake Day, which is May 28th, 29th. It'll be this Saturday. And the descriptor, so all the descriptors for these are pretty much what you would think, right? So for Robert Space Industry, the descriptor down here is RSI Let's Loose the Scorpius. On Aegis, it says Legendary Warbirds of the UE, Navy, and beyond. Anvil Aerospace, the Legionnaire boarding vessel makes its debut. So they're very specific and purposeful, right? Thank you, Vasily. Appreciate that. Ventivar, salute to you. Hope you are well, sir. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Ventivar, much like VMXEO, is an absolute legend. Let's just put it at that. Absolute legend. Bingo, hello to you. Salute to you, sir. Yeah, Ventivar and VMXEO, two critical STARJUMP collaborators. I'll put that word, critical. So going back to Drake, theirs says, wait till you see what Drake is about to unleash. A lot of people took that and kind of went, does that mean they want to unleash the Kraken? I even thought that for a half minute. That really wouldn't make too much sense, though, because the term for the Kraken has been release the Kraken, not unleash the Kraken. But some discussion started up here because it felt weird that this line sounds super epic, and the Mule, which is the only new Drake ship that we know about, seems a bit underwhelming for such a statement. Now, we can't forget, though, that the Vulture will make an appearance on the Drake floor. So you'll be able to go walk around and check out the Vulture. I've already seen some videos of it. So that may be what that line is all about. They want to kind of show, surprise the Vulture. The Mule seems a little weird to unleash. Could it mean something more? Could it mean there's a surprise Drake announcement in there? It's possible. They are, chugging ahead pretty heavily right now on Drake ships. Obviously, we have the Mule. We have the Vulture that is pretty much complete at this point, waiting for salvage to come on board. So probably 318. I own that ship. And then we know they're working on the Corsair. I'm thinking that's going to be a 318 ship as well. Yeah, Bloody. I'm starting to lean that way too. I'm thinking it's just the Drake Vulture. But some people have been wondering, and it very well, there very well could be another surprise in there. They're pushing so hard on so many other Drake ships that maybe they're just in a Drake mode right now with their artists, and maybe they pushed into a new ship, or perhaps they're going to start working on the Kraken for all we know. It could very well mean a new, a new Drake ship that we don't know about. So it could be anything. It may not be straight to flyable. It could just be they're about to unleash a new concept on us for all we know. I will say that if that is the case, they've kept it super secret, and that's odd for CIG because they haven't been able to keep too many ships secret. The Mule we kind of knew about for a long time. The Legionnaire was definitely a surprise. I think that one caught everyone off surprise. So it's not that they don't do it, but it's lately now it does seem that it happens more and more. Oh, we just got our first super chat ever. Our very first super chat. Wow, I'm super excited. Wenhao Zoo. I hope I said that right. Correct me, Wenhao, if I said that wrong. I like to get names correct, so definitely correct me if you need to. Wenhao says, love your video. Keep up the good work. Hope we can play Idris or bigger ship soon. Make your video happen in game. Yeah, so I'm assuming you're talking about, let me bring that up. I'm going to show, stand by. Let me find it. Take a second. People want to see this stuff. People want to know when we're going to get to that stage where we are seeing, the big cap ships kind of duke it out, right? And, from a technical standpoint, there's not a lot that is holding these ships back, really. The Idris is pretty much complete at this point. The Kraken, there's nothing really technical, I don't think, that's holding it back that wouldn't be hard. Like you could release the ship without some of this stuff. The only thing on the Kraken that I think could hold it up a bit, because I don't know if they have this working in the PU yet is the Kraken does have an air car that travels down the length of its spine, and I don't know if they've done anything like that in the PU. Yes, I know that other ships do have trams inside them, like the Bengal. I just don't know if they've done that with server code yet. But Winnow, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I will go ahead and say that you are our very first super chat ever, not just for tonight, but ever. We have turned on super chats for our YouTube channel after we just became a YouTube partner. So yeah, really, really appreciate that. Our very first super chat. Very, very excited about that. Thank you so much, Winhal. I salute you. Thank you so much. Hope you continue to hang around with us. So, when I got to thinking about this, wait till you see what Drake is about to unleash. I then found a thread on Spectrum about Drake needing another 100-meter type ship. And someone immediately answered, well, what about the Caterpillar? And the person was like, oh, yeah, I guess a Caterpillar, but maybe a ship with some more industrial purpose or whatever. And I got to thinking about that a little bit, and I just started kit bashing, and we'll move over into that now. Here, let's move over into kit bashing. Let's have a little fun, shall we? Okay, we are going to open. I am going to switch us real quick. Let me get this open. We're going to open up our old friend Cinema 4D, and we're going to have a little fun. Let me turn off lights here. Oh, yeah. You know what, Ken? You're correct. Let's pull up. Let's pull up. Let's check out the Scorpius trailer. I did want to check that out. Oops. Stand by. I'm solving a major problem. Of course. Let me find that trailer here real quick. Everyone stand by. Okay, let me go theater mode. Let's pause a minute. Okay, I have Star Citizen being a little bit janky at the moment. Okay. Yes, I did see the Kraken in the Scorpius trailer. Very, very cool. We're going to play that now. Check it out. Let me switch back over to our window here. And we're going to play this. Hopefully you can hear the audio. Oops, wait a minute. Audio is messed up. Let me switch that internal. Let's back up a minute here. Okay, let's hit it again. Well, we can't watch it at that terribly low setting. Let's jack up our quality here and let's restart yet again. There's our Kraken. Very cool. Really cool trailer. They definitely knocked it out of the park with that. So real quick, I want to comment on Mad Titan's comment here. He says here the game is limited by player count per server. Those ships need server meshing. So Mad Titan is not wrong in regards to the Javelin for sure. The Javelin, if you wanted to fully crew it with players, I think it's like, what was it, 80 people. Hey, Pops in Space, hope you're well. Salute to you, buddy. I did tell Fist that I'm going to get in contact with y'all very soon. Sorry about the delay. But in the case of the Kraken doesn't have a crew count high enough to need server meshing. I think it has an optimal crew of 10 listed. Um, could you fit 50 people on it? Sure. But I think it has a maximum crew listed at 10. So the Kraken could definitely be operated on a server even now. Um, Let me just go ahead and preface this that the interior of the Kraken I don't think has even been started. So the Kraken's still a long ways off. I'm just saying, in terms of technically, could it operate? It could. The Kraken is not, from a model standpoint, there's been people using the game client that have been able to spawn, you know, 20 Idrises and, three Bengals. I mean, the server can hold up under that load, um, especially if there's now that's with no other players. But I think on our servers now, you could definitely have a Kraken up there with a crew of 10 people. You still got 40 other people on the server. So you know, bigger ships that are fully crewed, like the Idris, I think has a crew recommendation of 26, if I'm not wrong. And the Javelin's like 80 something. But yeah, like the Kraken, it's Mikkel says Kraken is minimum 8, max 28 or something like that. Same as the Idris. No, see, I thought it was smaller. I thought it was smaller than that. Let me look it up here. I'm going to go to the RSI website, which is I know not completely accurate, but let's be honest, it's all we have right now. I'm going to switch over. So let's look at the Kraken for a minute here. It says max crew of 10. I think that's probably more the minimum crew you want to run it at to obviously take care of all your turrets. But let's say you had pilot, radar operator, scanner, because you want to protect the ship, engineer, and maybe an engineer's assistant. And then let's say the turrets. How many turrets does it have? Is it 8 turrets or 10 turrets? I forget. Let's say 8 to 10 for that. At a maximum, I see this being 12-ish people operating a Kraken. That's not including any flight personnel that come on board via their own ships, but we can't really count that. So, so the Kraken, again, it is one of the bigger capitals, but I think its crew count isn't quite higher, or isn't quite as high as a lot of people think. So, Mikkel, I think in an optimal environment, you're not wrong. You would probably want, an air boss. I don't know if they need to be out in the pads. That could be a little dangerous for them, but an air boss in the tower and the command bridge, on the bridge, kind of helping direct traffic, telling ships, hey, you can land on pad 4, pad 6, or whatever. And if you wanted 2 engineers in those hangars, that'd be 2 additional. So, yes, to optimally outfit it, you could have a lot in there, but is that ultimately needed? I don't know. 9 turrets, Ken says. Okay, so 9 turrets. Again, yeah, and not including the operating the Dragonfly Bay. You're not wrong, Mikkel, at all. You could probably outfit it properly with 28. I think it's the difference between fully outfitting it and not. Like, if you were flying an 890 jump, do you need personnel in the kitchens? Do you need someone, manning the recreational areas? Do you need someone working the bar? You start to kind of decide and pick and choosing how you want to man your ship, I guess. Yeah, Matt. I mean, obviously, you get in any big battle with any ship, that's going to multiply. Because you're going to need everyone on turrets. You're going to need multiple engineers running around managing that whole thing. Those, I think, are those worst case scenarios. But I also don't think CIG is necessarily factoring that in right now on ship releases. What all I'm saying is I don't think they're not releasing the Kraken right now or putting it into production because server meshing's not out. It could be a factor, but I don't think it's something that's like a make or break for the ship. Um, I mean, CIG releasing the 890 was completely unnecessary, but they did it. I think that CIG sometimes just does things because they need to do them that way. Um, but yeah. Um, so let's move on to what was hinted at in my original post for this episode, and that is the super caterpillar. um, so the super caterpillar was something I was kit bashing, and we're going to play around here. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is totally crazy. Now, this is an upsized caterpillar, by the way. So an actual cat is somewhere around, actual caterpillar being about, actually not even that big. Is it that big? Yeah, it's that big. And let me see here. Let's go ahead and kill some of this stuff. Right? Kill these. Okay. So an actual caterpillar, I don't have its command module here. I guess I deleted it. I started messing around. I was like, oh, the caterpillar, if you size it up by 2, that would allow its side hangers here to hold like full on small fighters, right? Maybe this side doesn't even have hangers, right? You just have pads over here, or you could lose those pads completely, right? You could turn those off and just make it fly through hangers. But you scale up the caterpillar to 2 times, which would put its length, that would put its length somewhere in the category of, let me see, probably around the 220 meter mark by scaling it up. Let me actually, you know what? Can I open my regular caterpillar? Let's open the regular caterpillar for a minute. Yeah, yeah. This is me completely having fun, y'all. This is not to be taken seriously. Okay, so this would be a normal caterpillar. Let me pull it out here. This is to scale. Okay. Let me bring our super cat forward a little bit, and then an actual caterpillar. This is to scale. Again, everything on this caterpillar would be scaled up. And what that would end up doing is it would end up making your hangers on the side of the caterpillar. Now you can't get any ships, I think, except for like a P-52 in there. But this would allow you to get like at least arrows and gladiuses and stuff in there comfortably, with probably some room to spare. Actually, we'll turn on our. Let me turn these back on. We'll render this scene. And we'll do some kit bashing. We're going to try out the Legionnaire and the Polaris, all that fun stuff. Yes, Trevor, is pretty much what the Kraken already is, but why not have both? Again, a lot of times what we do when we're kit bashing like this is we're just seeing like what other possibilities they could do. Again, it's Drake. It would be cool for Drake to do stuff where like maybe some of their ships are derivative of each other like that. They messed around a little bit with that when they were discussing or in their original development of the Kraken. The original Kraken actually had a Caterpillar cockpit for its bridge. It was an upscaled Caterpillar command deck for its bridge that was later replaced with the Kraken bridge that we know and love now. But again, it kind of gives you a different way of thinking. And while yes, this is be completely pointless for the Caterpillar to have a variant like this, it's more just kind of like seeing how it could turn out, and maybe kit bashing can sometimes lead to other interesting discussions, right? Let's see here. Yep, Dragonfly Bay on the nose. That would be really cool, Mikhail. I didn't think about that. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Yeah, Ken, you never know. I do think again that I do think that the Kraken, when it goes into production, I do think it will grow a little bit. I think it will grow by about 20 meters Um, I don't think they need a lot more room in it, but I think they need probably some traversal room and maybe some extra room for some. Yeah, just in the way ships generally grow, maybe 20 meters or so it would grow by. Off topic, but I'd like to explore Odyssey hangar mod idea. Raise the hangar floor one level, extra small size Xeon lift forward half, weight bearing hatch cover for the extra small lift, additional ship and SCU. So it essentially have two hangars, right? A double decker hangar. That would be cool. It would probably affect the. It would probably pretty heavily affect the way you get in and around the ship. I would think. Um, but I guess there's the space is there. So yeah, space is there. Um, so anyways, Super Caterpillar. I just thought this was a lot of fun, and the more I kept messing with it, the more I was like, man, I really kind of like this design, and maybe the cat while the Kraken. I know Dan, was it Dan? You were asking like, why the hell would they make this? Which I totally agree. Why would they make this? Maybe the reason would be where the Caterpillar or maybe the Kraken, um, being a ship that really is your mobile HQ, maybe the Caterpillar could be something that is more um, an industrial platform, right? For industrial operations or something that could be kind of cool. A little bit smaller derivative off the Caterpillar. I could see Drake saying, "Oh, you know what? We're going to build a bigger Caterpillar." I do know that when the Corsair was originally pitched, Paul Jones stated that the original idea behind the Corsair was that it would be a super cutlass, and they even had played around with that name for a short bit. And I always loved that. I always loved the idea. Hold on a minute. I always loved the idea of a super cutlass. I thought that was kind of cool. It's got a little bit of that hot rod vibe that you would think Drake would do. I'd love to see them doing something like that. Um, okay, Vasily, I will check that out. I do typically have several Discord messages hanging that I need to get back to. And there's Starlet. Starlet, we're talking about your favorite manufacturer right now, Drake. Everyone knows Starlet is a huge Drake fan. Yeah, Mikkel, kind of the Drake competitor to the Liberator, only with a lot more internal hangars. Maybe those hangars could open up with ramps for ground vehicles like the like the Liberator has. Again, everyone, this is completely me just having fun. Obviously, the Kraken handles all this. You should just get a Kraken. But I could see something like the Caterpillar being upscaled a little bit to handle even larger jobs. And this is not unprecedented in Star Citizen. They did this with the Hull series, right? So if the hulls can have the hull A, hull B, hull C, hull D, and just get bigger, why can't ships like the Caterpillar or whatever, the Raft, etc., why can't they just have bigger versions? You know what I mean? So this Caterpillar idea is not something that's like completely out of left field. It's something that could in fact be a thing. Um, anyways, I just thought it was kind of fun, and I was like, oh, you know what? I bet the Star Jump community would think this is kind of interesting. So, all right, let's get to some other things here. Bigger Caterpillar be nice as long as CIG Simplistic says having hangar bay control center have absolute control of takeoffs and landings would be needed. Yep, yeah, would be. Kel says as long as CIG gets ideas and makes our Drake Leviathan eventually. Yeah, you never know. Hey, could happen. Could definitely happen. You know what? I lost the Drake Leviathan project. I don't know where that ended up going. I need to find that Cinema 4D project because I wanted to include it as a Fleet Viewer Easter egg ship, but I couldn't find the project files for it. Okay, let's move on. So I had some requests. One of those was to see about the was to see about the Legionnaire fitting within the Polaris. So let's open some of that stuff. So we need to find the Legionnaire real quick. Okay, there it is. Okay, and I've got to go over my folders real quick off screen for just a moment. I've got to grab the textures for the Legionnaire, which are here. Talk amongst yourself, everyone, for just a moment. Let me grab the Legionnaire's textures. Okay, and let me paste those into the Polaris's texture folder. Okay, almost there, and we will test this. Skip these files. We're actually, though, we're going to need another ship to properly test this. We're going to need, well, no. So, okay. So there's a couple caveats here that everyone needs to remember. The Polaris, let's kill this light in here. Okay. Okay. So the Polaris is a ship we know has grown in size. Okay. So here's our hangar. Okay. We know this ship has grown in size. We don't know how big it is. Okay. So we are going to have to kind of do some guesstimates here. Okay. The way we're going to do that is we're going to go into our Polaris project. Okay. We're going to rotate our Legionnaire. Okay. Now we've got to get things into metric. Okay. So here's how we do that. We're going to go to a top-down view, and we're going to go ahead and create a measuring stick for the Legionnaire. And those of you that have seen me do this know exactly what I'm about to do. We're going to create a cube, which is essentially just a measuring stick. We're going to switch ourselves in our project settings to meters. Oops, nope. Preferences. And we're going to go to units. We're going to switch from centimeters to meters. Okay. Our measuring stick here, we're going to set at 32 meters long, which is the length of the Legionnaire. So essentially what we got to do is we got to bring this measuring stick over. And okay, our Legionnaire is pretty much there. Yeah, pretty much to metric. Mikkel, we don't know how much it grew. John Crew didn't say, but he did say that it is still sub 200. That's the only thing we know right now. That is the only thing we know right now officially, despite what anyone else has told you. That is the only thing we know. Okay, so 32 meters for that. Now we need to create another measuring stick. Now we're going to do a couple measuring sticks. We're going to take some leaps of faith here. So currently the Polaris is 155 meters long, okay, which is pretty much what this measuring stick has the Polaris at. So currently, if you went by the RSI page, which says that the Polaris is 155 meters long, then we are correct on our sizing here. Okay. Now we know these engines VTOL. I do not have this rigged up to VTOL right now, but we know they do VTOL. The good news is that especially when the engine's VTOL, it looks like this will fit. And that's even with the Polaris at its current. Let me turn off this saber real quick here. Okay. So, you know what? Let me attempt to rotate these engines. Let me attempt to rotate the engine. I don't have it rigged for that, but I want to make everybody happy. Okay. So we're going to attempt to do that. Okay. I need to adjust my center point for these. You're about to see a little bit of how the sausage is made. Bear with me. We're going to turn off our work plane. We're going to turn off cameras. We're going to turn off lights. We're going to turn off the Polaris. And we're going to go in here. We're going to adjust our anchor point for our engines to something like this. It's not perfect, but that will be okay. Everyone bear with me. Yeah, Mikkel, I know I've heard some other people say some lengths, but officially CIG has not announced lengths yet. I did talk to Paul Jones a little bit about the Polaris, and there's been none of that's been revealed. So um, unless a CIG person announced it and they shouldn't have, there's been no official dates. I mean, it could be 183. But John Crew's never said it, and John Crew is really the person it has to come from. I forget where the anchor point is on this. Is it up here? No. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, let's rotate these engines as best we can here. I'm gonna have to reposition these. These are a mess. Again, when I don't have things rigged, oops. It means I just have to kind of position things manually a little bit. Okay. There is our ship in landed state. I think this is on some sort of riser. So I think these engines do sort of like raise up. Or actually, sorry, that's down. And I think these have a gear portion that come out and fold out. That's why these aren't equal, but I think the gear part folds down and makes them equal. Okay, so in its landed state, it does look like the Legionnaire will fit from a footprint standpoint. I don't exactly know how deep. Let me just turn off this real quick. Let's get a sense for how deep this is. Let's bring our Legionnaire down. We do know these engines are probably going to lower a bit. Actually, let me check some Legionnaire concept art real quick. Stand by. Stand by. I'm just getting a sense for the Legionnaire's landed state, which won't take me but just a moment. Oh, okay. This is good news. So the Legionnaire in its landed state, you can see it right here. Hopefully that's showing up. The Legionnaire in its landed state, the engines here, these back engines don't land at all. There's a gear on the back. So actually the footprint's slightly smaller. So these back engines on the Legionnaire, let's fix that real quick because we want to be as accurate as we can. They're more like that, right? Yep, more like that. We don't know the exact angle, but that's okay. Again, we're going to be kind of spitballing this here a little bit. So, okay, so that's good news for anyone who's curious about that. If you, even at the Polaris's smaller size, the 155 meters, it does look like the Legionnaire can fit in there. Not a lot of room. Yeah, not a lot of room to play around, but technically it does look like it fits. Now, we do know that the Polaris has grown. The only thing John Cruz said about the Polaris is that it is sub 200 meters. That's the last we heard. But if you go to the questions that were submitted for the ship show that's going to be on Friday, which John Crew I'm sure will be at, I think it's the second most top voted question is an update on the Polaris. So maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that. Let me turn down my render settings real quick here. Sorry, it's probably my anti-aliasing. Yep, it is too high, too high. Okay, this is a lot more realistic. And we'll render that out real quick. So obviously, if it'll fit in the Polaris, when the Polaris is only 155 meters long at its smallest estimate, it can fit in that. So it should definitely fit in the upscale Polaris, which could be 185 meters, like Mikkel said. It could be 170 meters, 195 meters, whatever the case may be. It should fit just fine in there. Because even if you take this, let me where's my hangar doors? Okay, let's take our Legionnaire. Let's go up here. Bear with me. Where is my hangar? Here it is. Okay. So essentially, right? Yeah, it'll be sort of like that. Right now, these doors are closing too quick. That's okay. We can adjust that. All right. Can we adjust that? Yes, we can adjust that. We'll just take this, bring it down. So there we go. Um, yeah. So again, that's 155 meters distance there. We know it's going to be bigger. It should fit. Let's see what else we got here. Prowler's pretty tall though. Probably can't close the roof. Yeah, with a grease stink finger, probably won't be able to close the roof on that. Mikkel says if it's up at 200 meter size, if they push it right to the limit, it would go from being subcap class to the same class as an Idris, right? Well, the Idris is 242 meters long, so the Idris is still 42 meters longer if they push the Polaris to 200 meters. I'm not sure of the classes and how that factors in, and if that would actually put it in the same class as the Idris. I mean, I think they're different ships. I mean, we do know that the Idris is a lot more heavily armored than the Polaris. Kendan says crew also said the reason for the slight increase in size for the Polaris was to allow the hangar to scale up to standard size, extra small, rather than an obscure bespoke hangar size like the Carrack. Right, that's right, Ken. And thank you for pointing that out. Yes. So it's been upscaled to be a standard size, much like the Odyssey's hangar. Yeah. But there you go, everyone. That would be, that's your Polaris with, the mighty Legionnaire sitting inside of it. I think you're going to be able to do it. I think it's going to be a tight little fit, but I do think you're going to be able to do it. And the Odyssey will be able to breach. The Legionnaire will be able to take off, go breach another ship, dock, maybe arrest someone or take someone into custody, come back to the Polaris, and put that person in the Polaris's hold. Now again, let's do one more test here. Let's take our Legionnaire out for a minute. Let's remove it from the Polaris's hold. All right. Actually, I need to bring that up. Stand by. Okay. So let's adjust the Polaris up in size, right? Let's make another measuring stick. And let's make that one. So I know someone said 183 meters long. Okay, which would be that long. Let's try 183 meters. All right, we do need to scale the Polaris up, so let's scale it up. Should be around there-ish. We're a little long. Let's shrink it down just a tad. Oops, nope, we're a little short. Okay. So 1.16 on the meters. Okay, so that would put our Polaris there, roughly, give or take a meter. And again, when you do that, you're just giving your Legionnaire even more and more room to comfortably sit in the Polaris's hangar. So I think you're going to be just fine. I think you're going to be just fine. Okay. Any other questions that have popped up? Got a good crowd tonight. 63. Thanks for everyone for hanging out with us, joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Starlet says ships with brigs. What on earth will happen? BDSM clubs and the brig. That's what I'm thinking, Starlet. Scott says, I thought the length of the Polaris was affected because it needed airlocks. I don't remember hearing that myself. Doesn't mean that's wrong. I think I definitely did hear that they scaled it up because of the hangar size. Maybe airlocks had something to do with that. Let's see here. I agree, Starlet. I think the Polaris is a beautiful ship. I love the lines. I really love everything about it. I cannot wait to see the redesign. If the Perseus is any indication on Drake aesthetic moving forward, or even the Scorpius, much like newer MISC ships like the Odyssey and the Expanse, if the Perseus and the Scorpius are any indication of the direction that RSI design is going, then the Polaris's redesign probably looks amazing. And when I say redesign, I'm sure the Polaris mostly looks the same, but I bet you it got the Perseus coat of paint on it, so to speak. Frag, hope you're well. Nice to see you, buddy. Salute to you, Frag in the channel. Let's see here. I saw a question here. Will an Apollo fit in the Polaris? We could try that. That is something we could try. Let's try it. It's a fellow RSI ship. I would think it would fit. I would definitely think it would fit. It should fit, right? It definitely should fit. Let's open up our Apollo. Okay, where is our Apollo? Oh gosh, I just broke the Apollo. Okay, there's our Apollo. All right, let's take the Apollo. Can someone give me a length on the Apollo and tell me how long it is? Length of the Apollo. Good news is I think the Argo SRV will fit comfortably in there. That's good. I love the SRV. I can't wait for it. Who asked for the Apollo? Can you give me a length on that? Let's see. Legionnaire. Let's see. Apollo. Apollo's 43 meters long. That's longer than I thought. Let's see. Let's get dirty here. Let's get dirty. Okay. First thing we have to do, we're going to turn the Legionnaire off for a second. We're going to bring our Apollo out a bit. Okay, we're going to rotate it because it's on the wrong axis right now. We're going to create a measuring stick. We need to make sure the Apollo is the right length. 43 meters long on the z-axis, which, looking at our measuring stick here, they don't usually count the antennas, so I'm going to say the Apollo is in metric. That's almost definitely a no. So I'll say this. It doesn't, so this current Polaris is 183 meters long. At 183 meters long, this Apollo, I mean, it is scraping the paint, man. it is real close and the antennas don't really fit in. So I would say no. Now, if the Polaris grew to 200 meters, it would probably fit. It would probably fit. Let's see here. You know, the thing with the Polaris is the best way to think of the Polaris. There's a lot of ways to compare this to other ships, Perseus and other things. But the Polaris, in my opinion, is closest to the Nautilus. And the reason I say that is because those two ships are ships unlike any other ships. I feel like the Nautilus stands alone and the Polaris kind of stands alone. The Polaris stands alone in that it is really one of the only big ships that is lightly armored but carries an absolutely devastating amount of firepower and what is it, 26 size 10 torpedoes. But it's a lightly armored ship, or lightly armored for its size. That is very much unlike the Hammerhead or the Perseus or the Idris, or what have you. So the Polaris is unique in that regard. The Nautilus obviously is unique in that it's the only mine-laying ship. So funny, in a weird way, to me, the Polaris sits with the Nautilus. They sit aside in kind of their own category. Mikhail says, Graham, can you see if the Legionnaire would fit in the Idris? I'm thinking height would be the problem. Yes, I can check that. I can check that. I would need to let's what do I need to do to check that? I need to grab the Legionnaire's texture files. One thing I always have to do is grab the texture files and copy them into the new ships folder, just so that the new ship, like the Idris, doesn't try to reference that and show it as missing. So, boop. I can't remember if this Idris has the hangar inside of it or not. We're about to find out. All right, let's open the Idris. All right. I don't know if this Idris, though, has the hangar. I think maybe it does. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, cool. There we go. All right. So, what were we looking at? All right, Legionnaire. Okay, let's take the Legionnaire from the Polaris because we need to see it in its landed state. Let's go back to our Idris. God, I've had having a problem with my eye this week. Bothering me. Center this out. Okay, our scale is obviously way off. That's okay. Okay. Ignore the scale issue at the moment, everyone. Okay, takes a minute sometimes to get. Okay, so we need to do some measuring here. Okay, so we're going to create a couple yardsticks. First yardstick is going to be on the x-axis is going to be 242 meters long, which Idris is to length. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a 32 meter long measuring stick, and that's what our Legionnaire needs to be. Again, most of these ships I've already put in at metric, so We should be good. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So our scales are correct. We're 2 metric. All right. Let's see what it looks like. Uh, don't think so. I think height is going to be your enemy. Yep. Oops. Sorry. Stand by, everybody. All right. Yep. Height is your enemy, Mikkel. Obviously, there's just no room there. I'm kind of clipping the top already with the turret. You can kind of see in there, and the engines are still scraping the ground. So, no, the Legionnaire will not fit in an Idris. Not fit in an Idris. However, what I can show is that I do think. Stand by. Is that it should fit generally comfortable. 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. Yeah. Cute. Is it should fit on this ship, I would think. Or is it just a little too big? Well, it's a little too big right there, but you have more room on the rear landing pad. You actually have more clearance on the Liberator's rear landing pad. You have a little bit more clearance on the side here. So I think on the Liberator, I think on the rear pad, you could squeeze a Legionnaire. Yeah, I think that would work. I think that would work. Let's see here. What time is it? 11:46. Gonna have to wrap this up, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful night hanging out with me and enjoying some ships. Checking out, doing some kit bashing. You know, we like to have a lot of fun with that stuff. Again, we're messing around. We're seeing what we can come up with, having a little fun, etc. Like I said, I'm going to be traveling this Friday, so I will not be around. I will be checking in on Discord, and but I will be back on June 2nd, which is also my birthday. And I plan on doing a lot of streaming when I get back because my daughter will be hanging out with her grandparents for about a week and a half. So I am going to be able to stream a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm thinking about doing some all night gaming streams and some other cool stuff like that. Again, don't forget, if you would, don't forget to visit our Patreon. I'll throw the link down in the chat again. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store. All that support goes to hosting, maintenance, and all that good stuff of the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer, which, as you know, the Fleet Viewer is still very much in progress, and all assets are now complete. It's in Starlet's hands. She is doing her Starlet magic. And Fist to Face, thank you, buddy. Pops, stay well. Hope you two legendary guys are doing good, and I will be reaching out to you soon. I am so sorry that it was delayed. I've just been extra slammed. But Fleet Viewer assets are now in Starlet's hands. Starlet is a genius. She is the technical master behind the Fleet Viewer project, and it's really just in her court now, and we're going to give her all the time she needs to build everything into the system. But in terms of assets, in terms of ships and assets, we're done. We finished them all. Again, don't forget to check out the Patreon. We have some really great rewards, including a top tier reward at $100 a month that gets you a ship in the Fleet Viewer, a custom ship. But we have Patreons going all the way down to $2 a month, very minimal support. But even those $2 are so helpful to us, and we really appreciate it. It goes into to the ability for me to give tokens of appreciation to the people who have worked on Fleet Viewer, putting a lot of their own time into it, whether that's through gift cards or just donations to them to thank them for their time, or also to help with website hosting fees for Starlet with Hanger Link, or maintenance on Fleet Viewer, all those things. It just really goes into that. Really, really appreciate it. One thing I do want to preface, though, and I like to say this every time, the Fleet Viewer will be free to everyone, though. The Fleet Viewer will be open. You want to donate to get access. It's going to be a free project. Just want to make that clear. Okay, that is pretty much it. It was so awesome seeing everybody, all my familiar faces in chat. I had a really great turnout tonight. We had just concurrently through the entire stream, we had an average of 53 viewers, which was incredible. I think most of the time I looked over, we were averaging somewhere like 66 viewers. That's amazing, y'all. I know these talks can be a little dry and uninteresting, but the fact that y'all want to come and hang out with me is awesome. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Everyone have a fantastic night. I love you all. Thank you all for your support. It means so much to me. I will be back on the evening of June 2nd, June 3rd, somewhere around there, and you're going to see me streaming a lot. All right, that's it.